The swearing in of Tarique Rahman as Prime Minister of Bangladesh signals a new chapter in the neighboring country's history. His 17-year self-imposed exile in London actually coincided with the 17-year rule of Sheikh Hasina, the Betanoi of Rahman's mother and former Prime Minister Khalida Zia. Actually, what began as a feud between Hasina's Awami League and Zia's Bangladesh Nationalist Party turned into an ego clash between two individuals. As far as India is concerned, Rahman's victory and the return of Bangladesh Nationalist Party BNP marks the end of nearly 2 decades of close ties with the Awami League, which had actually brought the two countries very close on several regional and security issues. Hasina's sudden and forcible exit after the July uprising took New Delhi actually by surprise, and it set in motion the process of sheltering her. As Hasina took refuge in Delhi and the BNP remained in disarray, Jamaat-e-Islami, a radical Islamist party that actually opposed Bangladesh's 1971 liberation war, took the lead in shaping public opinion in its favor. This was a dangerous trend. Now, Rahman's return after Khalida Zia's death in December has provided Bangladesh with a much needed and an acceptable alternative to the political chaos under the interim government led by Chief Advisor Muhammad Yunus, the Nobel laureate. But the BNP, which was founded in 1978 by Rahman's father, General Ziaur Rahman, actually Ziaur Rahman is one of those persons who was very closely associated with Sheikh Mujibur Rahman. In fact, although Sheikh Mujibur Rahman was in jail, it was actually Zia who announced the formation of Bangladesh. They were very close. So practically the extent of control over Bangladesh or the formation of Bangladesh can be credited to Zia as much as it can be credited to Sheikh Hasina's father, Sheikh Mujibur Rahman. So it's actually like a comeback after almost 50 years. So naturally, when he contested the elections, BNP has secured 209 seats in the 299-member parliament. The parliament is called the Jatiya Sangsad. So it's a clear victory. And New Delhi now has a window of opportunity to reset ties with Dhaka, which actually had deteriorated under Muhammad Yunus, because the radical elements emerged more powerful under that interim administration. Naturally, Prime Minister Narendra Modi has spoken to Rahman on telephone, and his statement, Narendra Modi's statement, that he is looking forward to working with the new Prime Minister to strengthen the bilateral multifaceted relations and also advance the common development goals of the two countries. So this statement, this telephonic talk, and the conversation that he has had, and the statement that Prime Minister Narendra Modi has issued, this all signals some sort of a course correction in the bilateral ties, which were terribly under strain during the interim government led by Muhammad Yunus. That said, both countries will have to take several steps and address key challenges before India-Bangladesh relations can return to the good old days of bonhomie, the 1971 or Sheikh Hasina's period. The new Prime Minister has been very cautious in pressing demands for Sheikh Hasina's extradition. But he would expect India, obviously, to restrain her political activities to some extent, or probably to a very large extent rather. There has been murmurs from Dhaka saying that Sheikh Hasina is indulging in political activities. Um, she has her own people speaking in Kolkata, she is speaking from Delhi, and dabbling in domestic politics in Bangladesh. Although from Sheikh Hasina's side, it's nothing wrong. After all, she was the elected prime minister and she was ousted in not a very democratic manner. And in between, we all know that during Sheikh Hasina's time, New Delhi did not publicly engage with the BJP during Hasina's rule. So it would be expected that it need not overtly display support to Sheikh Hasina at this stage at least. A proper time might come, so we can wait for it. On the other side, Tarique Rahman also could bolster his democratic credentials by lifting the ban on the Awami League and allowing it to resume legitimate political activity. After all, it was not the BNP which banned Awami League. It was this interim government after Sheikh Hasina's ouster, and by virtue of pressure from probably the Islamic elements and Jamaat-e-Islami, this interim government had imposed ban on political activities of Awami League, and they were not allowed to contest elections. So this election, in a way, is practically one-sided election. A major opposition party was not even participating and not even allowed to participate in the elections. Therefore, I think it would be in the interest of democracy if Tarique Rahman really considers lifting the ban on Awami League. Now he has no political challenge or worry from that party. But he will have a good opposition in parliament probably. So that is to be seen, of course. And this brings us to this issue of the interim government. It was actually this interim government led by Muhammad Yunus is leaving an unwanted legacy for Tarique Rahman. And the new government will have to deal with this burdensome legacy left behind by Yunus administration. We all know about his foot in the mouth statement on India's northeastern states last year. He said India's landlocked northeast faced the prospect of becoming an extension of the Chinese economy. Practically, he had no business to say something like this. And again, in his final speech, when he demitted office, he again followed up the same sentiment saying, the seven sisters and Bangladesh acting as their guardian of the ocean. These are the words he has used. These statements actually go contrary to what the new Prime Minister intends to do. If Yunus and his advisors wish to leave Bangladesh, and there are enough ample indications that some of his very trusted lieutenants have already left. These are all unconfirmed reports. And Muhammad Yunus himself is reportedly planning to leave, or by this time he could have probably even left Bangladesh. And if the entire team wants to leave Bangladesh, the new Prime Minister would do very well to facilitate their exit rather with a very, very big thank you and ask them to leave for good. The better if they don't come back so that they don't muddle the political situation. And there are several challenges that India and Bangladesh face, especially India faces with this idea of Naya Bangladesh or whatever they call it. We all know about the Rohingya issue since 2017. More than 1 million Rohingyas have fled Myanmar's Rakhine state. This was following a military crackdown as a result of conflict between Buddhist settlements and the Rohingyas. And just as Bangladesh, India and China began dealing with the refugee crisis, China was more proactive to some extent, but India was trying to prevent the fallout of the Rohingya crisis. And the problem with the refugee crisis is it has several armed groups have infiltrated, and there are groups which are indulging in drug smuggling, human trafficking, and these groups have vitiated the atmosphere practically. It is no longer a mere refugee issue, it has become more than a refugee issue. And the resistance from Myanmar's military government is dwindling, and international aid is not coming forth the way it used to come in the beginning. Now it is not coming. It's almost 7 to 8 years now. And then, in general, there is no support. There is a growing apathy, global apathy towards the Rohingya crisis. So this issue has become a persistent bone of contention between two countries. Therefore, meaningful negotiations on the Rohingya issues can begin only after the restoration of normalcy in Myanmar. There is not a normal government in Myanmar which can take decision or with which Bangladesh and India can speak. Again, it all depends on political stability in Bangladesh also. So Bangladesh has to have a politically stable government. Myanmar has to have a politically stable government. Then only India, Myanmar, Bangladesh can thrash out this issue to some extent and find a solution to this problem so that these Rohingya refugees can go back to Rakhine where they don't have to fear their life and that it won't spill over to either Bangladesh or India. This is one thing. Another challenge will be Dhaka will also need New Delhi support to contain further influx and manage the camps, neutralize criminal networks. India in turn will have to tackle this challenge without accusations of interference in Bangladesh's internal domestic affairs or eroding Myanmar's trust as far as this issue is concerned. And another issue that we should worry about is the involvement of Turkey in Bangladesh. During the administration of Muhammad Yunus, a number of Turkish agencies, even the government agency, had come to Bangladesh and they had provided financial help to the Rohingya camps. And now, barely 2 days after Tarique Rahman was sworn in as Prime Minister, Bilal Erdogan, son of Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan, and his friend, German international footballer Mesut Ozil, landed in Dhaka. It is reported. It was a scheduled visit to the Rohingya refugee camps in Cox's Bazar, and also they attended the first iftar of the Ramzan period with the refugees. They also reportedly visited projects funded by the Turkish government. These details are all available in the media. Now, both New Delhi and Dhaka should remain alert and remember that Turkey's expanding role in Bangladesh's defense capabilities goes very much against India's security and strategic interests in the region, besides adding to regional imbalance. Both the BNP and Jamaat-e-Islami had promised to build a strategic partnership with Muslim majority countries in their respective manifestos. They have already mentioned that they will build bridges with Muslim countries. In fact, earlier in February, Jamaat-e-Islami had clarified that strengthening relations with countries of the Muslim world shall be a key foreign policy priority for them. A Turkey-Pakistan-China axis gaining a foothold in Bangladesh would significantly increase New Delhi's discomfort, even as it extends an olive branch to the new Prime Minister. Yes, India wants to be friendly with Bangladesh, but not at the cost of its security and strategic interest. That should be made very clear to Dhaka. And then Dhaka also urgently needs to stabilize its economy, and this can be best achieved through cooperation with India through developmental projects which could be centered around Look East, Act East framework, and also BIMSTEC framework or BIMSTEC platform, which has its headquarters in Dhaka. So both BIMSTEC, which can play a very, very prominent role in the development of all the countries involved in BIMSTEC, and also the Look East, Act East policy, Bangladesh becomes very central to the success of these two elements. That means Dhaka and India will have to work together, and Dhaka will have to take an initiative as far as its strengthening its economy is concerned. And also, an economically strong and politically stable Bangladesh will not only help Bangladesh to come out of the present problems, but it will also help in maintaining regional balance to a very large extent and contribute positively towards New Delhi's efforts to build a strong South-South cooperation network. New Delhi or India is a natural leader of the South-South cooperation, and it is in this respect that both Bangladesh and India will have to work together towards a very strong and stable future, not only for these two countries, but for the entire region and for the success of South-South cooperation. Thank you.